Hi, I'm Stephen Harper. I'm an artist. And this is my exhibit, Archetypes from a Galaxy Far, Far Away, here at the Smith & Lens Gallery in Bay St. Louis. My major influence for this exhibit, obviously, is Star Wars. Star Wars came out when I was a kid. I was about 8 years old, and really just sort of took over my life obsession-wise. But kind of inspired by the fact that George Lucas, when he was making Star Wars, claimed that he wanted to make a myth for modern times. So this exhibit is really about things that inspired him, because nothing comes from nothing. I mean, everything's influenced by something. So I kind of just dug through art history, film history, TV history, and tried to find stuff that I think might have lodged in his brain. So when he was coming up with things, it's sort of recycled to his vision. The original title of Casablanca was from a play called Everyone Comes to Rick's, or Everybody Comes to Rick's. And so in this one, I kind of just think about, well, everybody. So I was kind of trying to think of all the different people that I could think of and find pictures of. And yeah, there are lots more that could have been in there. But then also I was just thinking about the parallels between the Creature Cantina in Star Wars and Rick's Cafe. Because it's exotic. There are a lot of people from a lot of different countries. You hear a lot of different languages. And people get shot. I mean, there are tough things happening there. Rick comes out after Ugarte gets shot, Peter Lorre's character, and he says, okay, folks, just sorry for the disturbance, just settle back down. And to me, that's just like the Cantina Band just starting back up after people have been attacked with a lightsaber. My inclusion of Star Trek characters in here, I've never been one of those people that kind of says, Star Trek or Star Wars. I'm like, I love them both. I grew up with Star Trek. I saw Star Wars. To me, they're both just exquisite. They're both just amazing. I love papier-mâché rocks. I included Spock and I included Captain Kirk sort of in reference to Obi-Wan Kenobi's line in Star Wars, where he says, most of the best pilots can be found there. And so that also includes the collection of pilots right here. You got Cary Grant a couple of different times. You got some famous female aviators, and just some people dressed up like pilots. This one is sort of a commentary on the whole civil rights movement. In a way, Star Wars was really one of the first things that I saw in the 70s as a kid that kind of drew my attention to it. I mean, I think there were always things about the civil rights movement on TV and things like that, but I don't think they ever made any connection in my mind. But Star Wars actually was kind of the first one that did. Ironically enough, because in one scene, C-3PO talks about Jawas, and he says, disgusting creatures, I can't abide those Jawas. And then the very next scene, he walks into a bar where they're like, hey, we don't serve their kind. Like, wait, what? No, you're droids, they have to wait outside. And then, of course, obviously, as an adult, thinking more about civil rights struggle, I was struck by kind of the connection between, the Woolworth's counters and things like that, and thinking about really the depth of those words. And if you think 1977, when Star Wars came out, this was still a very fresh subject, obviously. In Empire Strikes Back, when we first meet Yoda, Luke explains that he's looking for a great warrior. And of course, Yoda kind of replies in a self-deprecating kind of way. He says, well, wars not make one great. And so that's what this piece is entitled, Wars Not Make One Great. And really it's kind of a tribute in a way, but a commentary about the ever-presence of warfare in the world. But then also things like the destruction that goes along with it. And I was kind of struck by, this would be a really easy one to go just horrific, to go just horrifying. And in the 21st century, there are no end of horrific war pictures that one can come across. But then I didn't really want to go there very much. I started to kind of concentrate more on the aspects of war that are kind of past, really sort of late 1800s, back into the 1700s kind of way of thinking about war, where you have a lot of the pageantry, you have a lot of the costuming and decorations and bright colors. Really back in a time when we sort of think about wars actually did make someone great. The Force as you find out about it in the Star Wars movies, is really a very Eastern religion. It's a very Eastern way of looking at things. Either through Hinduism or Buddhism or Taoism, things like that. There are a lot of corollaries. There are a lot of things that are kind of the same, and all of those traditions, if you will, have kind of the character of the exile, the hermit who kind of just goes off by himself and kind of just meditates, kind of just thinks, and is one with the Force, that kind of thing. And thinking about it in terms of Star Wars, well, here you have Yoda that's leaving like everything behind and just going to this little nowhere of a planet. As far as we know, he's the only person or being on this planet, which would just about drive you crazy anyway to start with. But then the parallels between that and Buddha going off and leaving his palace, leaving being a prince behind and just going out into the wilderness. And of course, I think about my own situation here in Hancock County, which is kind of swampy. And you think, well, there are any number of places where one could be, and what exactly leads to the decision to go exile yourself in the swamp? What exactly made Yoda stay there?